Listen to me very carefully, because I'm going to tell you something that I consider one of the mysteries of life that I only now begin to grasp. And I know some people don't like me at all, see my videos, and some people love me. Forget me for a second, take me out of the equation, take my quarantine hair out of the equation, and listen to what I'm going to tell you, because it's a compilation of what I've learned from very smart people over my entire life. And it's kind of like this. There's an old saying that the first day of your life begins when you learn what you like to do, what you love to do. I think a better way to think about it is the first day of your life begins when you figure out how to motivate yourself, because there's an old quote: we've met the enemy and the enemy is us. Meaning everything you want out of life, your biggest competitor is going to be yourself. Giving up, losing motivation, anxiety. And this is, by the way, not some pet, rah-rah motivational speech. It's an important one. It's one they should have told us in school. Nobody told me. Here I am. I started as an entrepreneur, at 19 years old. I had to go through all this to get to a place where I'm like, somebody could have just told me that when I was young. Self-motivation. What actually motivates you? Where was the class in high school or college called self-motivation? And people say, oh, no, that's not that important. Well, really? This isn't some motivational pep talk. I'm going to ask you this. Do you read enough? Do you exercise enough? Do you make enough money? Do you have real skill? Do you know how to play the guitar? Do you know how to play the piano? Do you wish you knew public speaking? Everybody I meet regrets this and that. Oh, I'm way too much. Or there's da. Or I go to the gym, but I don't stick to it. I procrastinate. And I'm like, yeah, because the mystery of planet Earth is the first day of your life begins when you figure out how to motivate yourself. And everybody's a little bit different. You know what I learned motivates me? Reading about somebody who did something. Watching a movie about somebody who did something. When I was a little kid, you know what motivated me? Karate Kid. And thank God I watched that movie over and over and over. I notice how little kids repeat and they do the same thing over and over and over. And when the little kids too, and they learn a word, they say it over and over because they've learned, or I should say instinctually, their DNA's like, no, you got to learn how you learn. And little kids learn through repetition. And when we get older, we forget that lesson that we knew as a little 2-year-old and a 3-year-old. Is that you got to know how you know stuff. You have to know how you motivate self. You have to know how you learn. 10% of people are audio learners. Maybe 20 or 30% are visual. The vast majority of people are kinesthetic. That's how you learn. But even more important, how do you motivate? Because, for example, there's 20 to 30 million books published, they say, in human history. How many of them have you read? Well, the average person gives up after they read the first chapter of a book. So they don't learn much. But if you're wanting to build wealth, what do the billionaires on the top of the Forbes list all have in common? Well, Jeff Bezos built a business starting with selling books because he read a lot of books. Bill Gates goes on reading vacations. Warren Buffett reads 600 to 800 pages a day, he says, since the 1960s. Some people say, you don't need to learn. Well, I don't know. It seems to have worked for them. So they learned how they learned. But the question is, not that. We all have the books in front of us. We're not motivated correctly. So at the end of the day, let me repeat, the first day of your life is the day you learn to motivate yourself. And it's hard. You can go your whole life. You could go to your deathbed and still have no idea how to motivate yourself. How do you get yourself to do something you know you should do, but you don't feel like doing? That's like the cross that everybody bears, boy. Every freaking day you bear that cross. If you ask the average person, do you really do the things that you wish you did? Almost everybody says no, except a few people. Arnold Schwarzenegger. I always thought, this is a guy who figured out life. 4 pillars of good life: health, wealth, love, happiness. Did he have health? Well, some people are like, oh, he took steroids. Nah, the man was healthy. He had some heart problems he had from a little kid, but he's in his 70s. And the man still looks, he still looks like he's in his 20s. You saw that video where he's in South Africa and somebody bum rushed him and tried to tackle him. His security wasn't looking and the guy bounced off Arnold in his 70s. He had health, wealth. He's worth over $500 million. Love. When the man was single, he had fun. It was Arnold Schwarzenegger in the 70s. Family. I know a little bit of his family personally. Awesome family. He like pulled it off. You know, not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But like, I know one of his kids personally. Awesome kid. You're doing something right with your family when your kids turn out well. Happiness. I've met him. I've interviewed him. Seems happy to me. But at the core of it, you're like, what did Arnold do right? Well, he knew what he wanted. He knew he wanted to move from Austria to America. That was a goal. He reached the goal. He self-motivated till he reached it. He knew he wanted to be the greatest bodybuilder of all time, 6 or 7 time, I forget, Mr. Olympia. He pulled it off before he was 25. He said he wanted to be a millionaire before he was 30 years old. He was a millionaire, not from bodybuilding, but from learning how to invest in real estate and building a mail order weight business that before the internet, he was mailing weights in the back of, he had advertisements in the back of magazines. So he hit that goal. He wanted to be the highest paid actor of all time. Terminator 2 made him the highest paid actor of all time. It was like $28 million contract. That was a long time ago. That's worth like 70 million now. He said he wanted to marry a Kennedy. He married a Kennedy. Most powerful family in many ways in the United States, a dynasty. He said he wanted to be governor, which is the highest political office he could hold since he couldn't be president because he wasn't born here. He pulled it off. This video is not about Arnold Schwarzenegger, but it's about how do you get what you want? Motivate. He knew how to motivate. I don't know the exact little formula, but I wish I could take like a little bit of that secret sauce and like boop, boop, boop. And then people consider me a pretty motivated person, but I'm not motivated like that. He has a better life than me. By the way, people don't like to talk about, ooh, better and worse, and we live in a subjective world. They're like, nah, there's biological imperatives. Your DNA, one of my mentors, Dr. David Buss, told me that, you know why people have low self-esteem? Well, sometimes it's things out of their control, but self-esteem is a calibration of have you accomplished what you know you could have done? And you can't have self-esteem when you know you could have done stuff and you didn't do it. Your DNA ain't going to let you. So all the kumbaya people in the world telling you just love yourself, well, you should love yourself, but you should love yourself because you've done what you know you should have done. Really? Really? One of my mentors is a guy named Pooh Richardson. He played pro basketball. He was an all-star, played for the Clippers, played against the first rookie game, played against Michael Jordan. He told me, Ty, your competence is your confidence. But the question is, how do you get competence at something? You know how to self-motivate. So ask yourself on a 1 to 10, write down what you thought you'd be doing at the age you're at now. Are you there? That's a scary question, boy. One of the first days of your life is when you answer that question honestly. Like, what I thought I would be at whatever age you are, 18, 30, 40, 60. Did you pull it off? Because if not, I can tell you why. Because when I look back at my life, there's things that, yeah, I got exactly what I wanted, and things that I didn't. And it's all because I didn't motivate right on that thing. So, what's the magic secret sauce of becoming self-motivated? I'll give you 3 things. 3. 1, 2, 3. Why 3? Because it's easy to remember 3. 1, you primarily only motivate socially. There's a great book by a Harvard guy at UCLA. He's now at UCLA. He studied the brain. It's got a guy named Matt Lieberman. It's called Social. You can read it. Social. He said, basically, humans are wired to do things socially. So if you ain't in the gym, it's probably because your social circle doesn't make the gym a priority, and neither do you. Humans learn through osmosis. It rubs off on you. So step number 1 to self-motivate, are you in a group of self-motivated people? Because if not, run for your life. Because your life is slipping like, like water through your fingers. You try to drink water and you put it in your hand, it just slips through your fingers. Time runs out, boy, on life. One of the greatest philosophers of all time said, the problem is art is long and life is short. That's the Oracle of Delphi, 2,000 years ago. Meaning the art of living a good life takes a long time to figure out, but life is short, slips through the fingers. So you better change your social circle. And if you can't do it in person, you can do it virtually. You can listen to audiobooks. I was listening to Snowball by Warren Buffett. It was like, just the way Buffett motivated himself throughout his life was rubbing off on me. It's kind of artificial social, but it's better than nothing. If you're overweight, you ain't gonna self-motivate. If you knew how to self-motivate, you'd probably be in the shape you want to be, but you're not. So the way to self-motivate is kind of counter to what you would logically go, oh, I need to just huff and puff and then go to the gym and say a mantra. No. Hang out with people that love going to the gym. And then next thing you know, you start to go to the gym. You want to make $1 million? Hang out with people that making $1 million would be embarrassing. Really. You know, I grew up with a single mom, never met a millionaire. In fact, I never met somebody who made 100 grand until one year, one of my uncles made 100 grand in car sales. And I was like, whoa, this dude, what is that? Now, I've been fortunate enough to spend time around people who, you know, 5 billionaires I've spent some interesting time with, some more than others. But I've learned from them. And every time I'm like not motivated, I'm going, these guys lifted this much business-wise. Am I struggling under this? No, and that social, that even memory of a social interaction can help you. So that's step number one. You know, change your social circle, change your life. Change your social circle, change your motivation. And I'll tell you, you know, we live in a world where anxiety is high, and I notice people have high anxiety or have low self-esteem. They all hang out together, and I'm going, why? If you're sick, most important thing you can do is hang around people that ain't sick. Really. You know, one of the most dangerous things that can ever happen to you, go to a hospital. You know, the mortality rate, if you don't have to go to the hospital, don't go hang out at the hospital because you pick up germs you didn't have before. You know, stay around healthy people if you can. Sometimes you got to go to the hospital. But it's a fact. Mortality rate drops. And it's not just correlation, it's causation. If you're anxious while you're hanging out with people who are anxious, you think you're going to help them? No, you're all going to hurt each other. Think you're doing a good deed? No, my friend. Change your social circle, change your life. You want to make more money? Tell me about that social circle. By the way, that's a whole nother conversation because in general, the wealthy don't want to hang out with the poor. That's the sad thing. People riot over it. I don't know if that solves the problem. You can throw rocks at somebody who knows something more than you. Doesn't mean they're going to teach you what they know. Anyway, that's another conversation. What's the second way? Self-motivate. They say if you're hiring somebody, like a salesperson, and you want them to sell a lot for you, give them a Ferrari. Don't make them earn the Ferrari. Why? You give them the Ferrari once, and then you tell them, if you don't hit the sales goal, I take it away. Because once the person starts driving a Ferrari, they're like, wow, this is the coolest thing I've ever done. This is the best car I've ever driven. I didn't even know what it was like to drive a Ferrari. I better hit my sales quota. So you give, and then the threat of taking away, once you have a taste, the threat of taking away is the ultimate motivation. So my dream for you, let's say you want to motivate on making more money and you feel like you're lost and lazy or anxious. Man, I wish you could get a taste for one day what it would be like to have an extra 100 grand in your bank account, or an extra million, or an extra 10 G's just sitting around, or the ability to make it. You know, I wish you could taste that, because once you tasted it once, you would self-motivate to keep that going. People who, you know, can't get in the gym, I'm like, you know what I wish you would do? For a day, you can snap your fingers and you're in great shape, and you see how people interact with you different. And you go, I want that for the rest of my life. I want that to never stop. What do I have to do it? So you have to reverse engineer what keeps you going, what keeps you motivated. And part of it is to taste it. That's why I said, going back to number one, social circle. You know, Mark Cuban told me, Ty, I used to drive around Dallas to people who had cool houses. So he changed his social circle, kind of. We just drove by him. But it was like he tasted what it would be nice to have a nice home. You know, I grew up in a mobile home. Like my teenage years, when I graduated high school, I graduated living in a double wide mobile home. Nothing wrong with that, by the way. But it wasn't, when I got to taste like an actual house that wouldn't blow away in a hurricane. I lived in Clayton, North Carolina. There was always hurricanes, you know, and the first thing to do is blow away mobile homes. I was like, wow, this is like the first day of my life. Like, I remember I started making money. I learned e-commerce, and I was one of the first people to do e-com. I started I was working for GE Capital. I had got this job, and I use the internet to generate leads. Google AdWords, the second month Google AdWords came out, I was in it. And all of a sudden I went from a mobile home to like, whoa, this is cool. I have an actual house with like a nice kitchen, you know, and from that day forward, I was like, I'm gonna make sure I make enough money that I don't go backwards. Again, not looking down on somebody because I came from that place. I was born in Long Beach, man. My dad was in prison. My mom never made more than, I don't know, 15 grand a year. And now that I've had a taste, I don't want to go backwards. So sometimes I don't feel like motivating. I wake up and I'm like, I'm going to read a book. I'm going to put in some work. I'm going to put in some study. I'm going to like, you know, go the extra mile when everybody else gives up. I'm going to do it because I remember having a taste of the difference between success and not being successful. It's kind of a cool thing. You got to taste it. So if you're like me and you didn't have the ability to test it, maybe you got to do what Mark Cuban did, go drive around. See what other people are pulling off. I like to be around people pulling off stuff better than me because then I'm like, little competition won't hurt you, which brings me to number 3. Up your competition a little bit. Little healthy competition never hurt the world at all. At all. People think, it's like we're all winners. We all get a star in first grade. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's good, but maybe it causes more harm than you think. Maybe it causes some good, but maybe it causes more harm than good to give everybody a little lifetime achievement award when they didn't do anything. Is that really like, who do you think has more self-confidence or feels better about their life? Someone who became a concert piano player, and even if they don't do it for a living, let's say, but they're at that skill level, can sit down and just play at a party they have. Or somebody who was lazy, didn't motivate, and has no skill. I've met people with high levels of skill. I've never met an unhappy one. I've met a lot of unhappy people who never were taught how to motivate themselves, never pulled off health, wealth, love, happiness. I meet those all the time. 100 million people watch my YouTube videos and Facebook videos a year. I get all kinds of people messaging me, mostly about depression, anxiety, low self-confidence, feeling stuck, being poor, all those things. And my answer is like, yeah, maybe you need to compete a little more. And we live in a world where it's like we want to make everything even. It's kind of like communism. It meant well. But look at the history of communism. Everywhere it's touched, it's left the world a worse off place. China, big communist place, one of the lowest GDPs. A lot of poverty. Most people in poverty. Real poverty. You know, people are like, oh, people in China are eating this food that's causing, you know, these diseases. Yeah, because a lot of them are poor. Because of the communism thought, let's make everything even. Let's remove competition. Well, Will Durant, maybe the smartest person I've ever read. He's dead now, but he wrote The History of Civilization, one of the greatest 1,000 pages of books you've ever read. And he said that the second lesson of biology is life is competition. And we live in a world that wants to dull that down because like your mommy says, no, everything here, I love you. Well, welcome to the real world. In the economy, you think people love you because your mom loves you? No, you must perform. You must perform. You must perform. And if you think that there'll ever be a system that allows you to not perform, why would you want that system? What do you think makes you go to the bed the happiest? You know, Joel Salatin, my first mentor, he was just on Joe Rogan twice now. And when I was 19, I lived with him for 2 years on his farm. And I remember he used to tell me, he said, you know the best thing about doing farm work, Tai? This was in the evening, 6 o'clock. I said, what was it? He said, coming in hungry, man. He said, you know how few people have the gift of given to them or earned of feeling hungry because you put in physical work? You know how many people sit in cubicles, Tai, and feel bad and have backaches and have all this? It's because they don't move around. They don't earn the right to be hungry. And one of the greatest feelings on earth is to be hungry and have good farm fresh food in front of you. So don't neglect the little things. You earned that little thing. And happiness is there. One of the greatest ways people are happy is you're hungry and you eat good food. Don't look down on those little pleasures of life, boy. You start counting out those little pleasures of life, you ain't got nothing left. The Lambo and the Ferrari ain't better than good food. I can tell you because I've had both. So he was telling me subtly, teaching me a lesson like Mr. Miyagi in Karate Kid. It was like, no, man, doing stuff, pushing yourself makes you go to bed happier. All this world, people on anxiety medication and depression, some of that I'm sure is hormonal, for sure. Not to disparage that. But you don't think some of it's from us being taught a bunch of lies that, no, you just love yourself, just self-love. Yeah, self-love because you did stuff, because you accomplished today, because you earned the right to go to bed tired, and you earned the right to sit around the dinner table hungry. I know people don't want to hear this because we're becoming kind of like, I feel like world's becoming more communistic. Everything's kumbaya, baby. No, it ain't kumbaya. Look at Mother Nature. Go to Africa, go to South America. I was once in the jungle of Panama. Woo! It's competition there. And you think some politician is going to change that? You think some universal income will change that? You got hard lessons to learn still, my friend. Hard lessons to learn. Because the second lesson of biology is that life's competition. So, number 3 was what Will Durant said. Get a little more competitive. Now, my business partner, very competitive, Dr. Mayer, some of you have seen him on his social media. He just sold his e-commerce business, Zeusk, for $300 million last summer. And he's still competitive. And he's a happy guy. I've known him for over a decade. He's happy. He's got self-love. Because he pushed himself and knew how to motivate himself. And he's a very motivated guy. And one of the things he told me, this is number 4, I'll give you a bonus one. The way to motivate yourself is to make sure you have something that's easy to measure. Happiness is a tough one because it's like a little bit subjective. That's why Alex, he's like, here, Ty. He's got a PhD, by the way. He worked for NASA, and his PhD is in multi-objective optimization, which he said, I said, what'd you learn after getting your PhD? He said, that's not possible. So number 4 is you can't do multi-objective optimization, meaning you can't strive for too many goals at once. I mean, you can do more than one goal. You get the spirit of the thing. So pick what you want. And if you want to be motivated, I suggest you pick something measurable. And he told me, he said, Ty, you know why I like to make money? It's because it's easy to measure. He goes, money's not the most important thing, but it's the easiest to measure. It's easy to measure. You can see your bank account. Up, good, down, bad. Unless it's going down because you're investing. But then it's not really going down. It's just shifting to the investment. So if you look at net worth, net equity. Net equity, net worth, up, good. Down, bad. And he goes, I can measure that. So every day I go to bed. Now you can do that with the body too. Measure your waist. Guys, you want to have big guns? Measure the biceps. They say symmetry, your biceps should be half the inches of your waist. So if you got a 34-inch waist, you should have 17-inch biceps. That's a goal to reach, hard to attain. I've been trying to attain it and I still don't have it. But you know what? It's measurable. So I can go to the gym and motivate and go, boop, I got a little tape. Like, not hitting the goal. So my 4th little bonus tip is the way to self-motivate. Your life begins the day you figure out how to self-motivate. Pick stuff you can measure. I recommend health and wealth is the easiest. Love is a little complicated one, man. How do you measure it? Happiness is a little bit hard. Now, you could argue, and you're probably right, that love and happiness are more important than health and wealth. Maybe not more than health, but more than wealth. But they're hard to measure. And so you get a little bit lost with those goals. So let me just throw these goals out to you. Some purpose for this video. Set a health and wealth goal. Measurable. And I'll tell you what they should be. Health, for men and women, pretty much waist size. You can be too skinny and you can be too fat. Tough lesson people don't want to hear. You can be too much of both. There's a middle way. That's better. And I'm not saying I know what that is. And obviously some people are curvier and some people are naturally skinny. But ask any doctor with a brain, can you be too skinny and can you be too fat? He's going to say yes, and it's mostly around the waist. So measure your waist. I got a tape. I measure my waist. I fluctuate between 30 and 34. When I bulked up lifting heavier because I wanted to increase I got my bench press up to like, I can rep like 315. Then my waist went up to 34. Then I modulate down. Now I'm in a cutting phase, getting way, I lost 20 pounds. I was at 204. Now I'm 184. And I cut my waist right now just sub 33. So I've cut an inch. but I like it. It's measurable. I measure every Sunday. I don't measure too often because there's just some of the weight changes, water and stuff like that. But it's measurable. Wealth. Let me give you a goal. And when I say wealth, I don't say you're going to become a billionaire, you're going to become wealthy. It rhymes with health. Health, wealth, love, happiness. So make sure your net worth goes up this year. What's net worth? You take total assets you have, you subtract the debts. That's your net worth. So a lot of people focus on income. I want to get a better job. Well, you can get a better job, but then you spend it all and your net worth stays low. One of the things they don't teach us in school is that the primary goal should not be income. Income's taxable. Income's slips through the fingers because you spend a little bit too much. Net worth is a better goal and it's measurable. Can everybody be a millionaire? No, it's mathematically probably impossible. Can everybody be a billionaire? Definitely no. But can everybody achieve a net worth that spins off enough free cash to live a life? I believe so. That's my personal conviction. And I think the math can support that. You see GDP rising over the last 1 or 2 centuries. It's proof that as GDP rises, that net worth is rising. Not completely, because GDP is not a perfect measure. In some ways, it measures more income, but you see measurements showing, and net worth has increased. Even a poor person now, in some ways, is wealthier than a king in the 1700s who didn't have access to antibiotics, who lived in a castle that was sooty and had, caused respiratory issues. So we've gotten wealthier as individuals, even though we're still not hitting the goals for most people in the world, sadly. That's why I record this video. Because I'm telling you, you got 2 ways to pull yourself out of poverty. You can wait for government. And a lot of people waiting, boy. They're like, oh, look at Sweden. It's better than America. Well, I've been to Sweden. Sweden has more billionaires per capita than America. It's not very socialistic. It's a lot of people pulling themselves out by their bootstraps. And some people go, I heard a politician say, you can't pull yourself out by your bootstraps. Okay, then you're saying there's no hope. Because I'm not waiting on any politician, Republican or Democrat, liberal or conservative. If you want to do that, you're playing a fool's game. You're relying on politicians and government that's been corrupt from the beginning. Thousands of years ago, the Roman Empire. Look at the Egyptians. They had government. I read their system. You want to live in the Egyptian government system? It didn't raise people out of poverty. You want to go into the Romans? It didn't raise people out of poverty. You want to go to, I don't know, the Habsburg Empire, the longest running modern empire, 1500s to World War I, 1918. Ruled, Austria-Hungary. Nope. The people at the top got rich. You want to go communism? Well, you got Putin kind of in that, and he's probably the wealthiest person in the world. Didn't seem to trickle down. So I don't know that I'm going for that. If it's me, my recommendation to you is don't buy into the line. You can't pull yourself out by your bootstraps. Obviously, it's better. I wish I had been born to a wealthy mom and dad that gave me a business, because it's definitely easier to create wealth if mommy and daddy gave it to you. But you try to pull it out by your bootstraps. And is there luck involved? Yes, everybody got to bring up luck. I'm like, yeah, it's all lucky. It's all luck from a certain perspective. How about the millions of kids in Africa born, some countries, a massive percentage born with HIV? You and I, if that didn't happen to us, yeah, we've achieved luck. But you can still pull yourself out from the bootstraps. So maybe success is 90% luck, but you can't do anything about it. But the last 10% you can do. And I don't think it's 90. Maybe it's 50-50. When you can't figure out a percentage, go to the default, 50-50. So 50% of your success financially is luck. Were you born in the right place? Were you healthy? Did you get a little helping hand from a mentor or a school system or a parent or an uncle? But what about the other 50? That's on you. Self-motivate, my friend. Self-motivate. Look at the little kind of like, boop. If you got like a bag, you want to fill it up with water, the little pin pricks. Boop, boop, boop. Little leaks sink big ships. You ever heard of that? Well, probably financially, you got little pinpricks from bad habits that are sinking the big ship of your net worth. I've had them. I still have some. You don't have to get rid of them all. You just got to get rid of most of them. What are those? Being highly skeptical. Some of you are too skeptical. I remember when I first started doing YouTube videos, I told people I launched 67 Steps, 2014. I said, I'm going to teach you something that 5 millionaire mentors taught me. And I've read, thousands of books of smart people. I'm going to lay it all out, charge you $69. And I guarantee you, or your money back, it's more than you'll learn in college in many ways. Not literally, if you take an accounting degree, I wasn't teaching accounting, but like the mindset stuff, which actually matters. I was like, I've learned this from the smartest people. I've been to 40 countries studying success, starting at 19. Like I said, some of my mentors like Joel Salatin, now it's like Joe Rogan, invited him twice because my first mentor knows what he's talking about. And I'm like, I'll charge you $69, $1 a video. I'll give you, it was $67. And I'll give you 67 1-hour videos. And people are like, oh, that's a scam, man. That's a scam. How dare you charge to teach people? And I was like, from 2015 to 2019, or 2020, those 5-6 years, the United States accumulated no one knows exactly, 1.5 to 3 trillion of debt, not even learning stuff in college education. So I'm like, don't call me a scam. And by the way, all those highly skeptical people, guess what you were left with? The $1 trillion debt, not as bad as $67. And I'm not telling you should go back and buy my 67 Steps program. I'm just telling you, what are the little leaks sinking your potential for wealth? Skepticism. Boy, it's funny. If I could be 18 years old again, you know what I would do? Buy every get-rich program in the world. Everyone. Not because I think they work, but because you can learn, like Abraham Lincoln said, learn from everybody, even if it's what not to do. You could learn how they marketed. You could learn the science of persuasion, reading people. And by the way, my experience is most get-rich-quick schemes, if you exclude the blatant ones like Ponzi schemes, Bernie Madoff. But if you just look at some people, for example, MLM, network marketing, oh, it's a scam. Well, haven't built my net worth at all through MLMs or network marketing. I probably have earned $1 in my life through it. But I should have done it because I was like $250. You're in Amway or Herbalife or something, and you get a whole social network of people wanting to learn. And could you learn more than $250 worth of stuff? Yeah. Sales, leadership, teams, how to lead a team of people. These are all invaluable skills that you don't learn really in college, and you're dropping 30 G's a year for 4 years to come out with a piece of paper. People are getting English degrees who already speak English. The greatest con. And I know people say, oh, well, English degrees so you learn to be a writer. Okay, you think all great writers have English degrees? That's like saying you think all great business people have MBAs, business degrees. Last I checked, Bill Gates was 20 years in a row richest man in the world. College dropout. Mark Zuckerberg's worth $70 billion and he's in his 30s. College dropout. I don't know, man. So stop being so skeptical. I wish I would go back and just buy every get-rich-quick scheme. Some of them I'd learn something, some I would throw away. I mean, it's not the only thing. I'm just saying, as an example of why skepticism is the beginning of the end for your financial net worth, it's just because 1 out of 10 of those crazy ideas is like the next Facebook, is like the next Tinder. It's like, my business partner that I told you sold Zeus for $300 million. He told me, Tai, when I started doing apps, people thought I meant appetizers, like food. It's like, oh, I'm building apps. People were like, oh, what kind of food were you doing? He was so early because he wasn't skeptical that he caught a trend. And by 2014, he had a 4th highest grossing app in any category ever made by a human. Over $100 million generated from his app. Because he got in early because he wasn't skeptical. So, number one, I was saying, what are the little pinpricks? A, reduce skepticism. B, catch things early. Early apps in 2009. I caught Google AdWords in 2001 and 2. I caught YouTube ads in 2014. Ad costs used to be super cheap. The margins were like 80%. So your little pinpricks, one of the bad habits of non-motivated people, or people don't know how to motivate themselves, is they just they wallow in this pity and they wallow in this negativity. And like, oh, this is a scam. Oh, great. You already been scammed, my friend. Don't worry about the scam so much. Don't worry about it. You already been scammed. Look back at your junior high school. What'd you learn? You learned the Pythagorean theorem, hypotenuse of a triangle, but you didn't learn how to invest in real estate. You didn't learn how to do your taxes. You didn't learn how to launch a business. You didn't learn the difference between an LLC and an S Corp. Like, what did you learn, man? Did you learn how to invest in stocks? Did you learn how to short stocks? Do you even know what that means? Did you learn how to do M&A, acquisition? You learn how to buy businesses? Nah, you already been scammed, man. Woman, stop it. Motivate yourself by, what is it? Seeing the glass half full, not always half empty. Stupid cliche, but kind of true. So, A, don't be skeptical. B, catch trends early. You have to catch trends early. Jeff Bezos started doing e-com in 1994. JCPenney, Neiman Marcus, J. Crew, American Apparel, Forever 21, all bankrupt recently. Why? They caught the trends too late. I mean, JCPenney is just discovering people don't want to go to stores. Jeff Bezos caught that trend in 94. It's 26 years. And it's like, so C, you can't be a slow learner. And A and B lead to slow learning. Skepticism, not catching trends early. C, I guarantee you, if you want your net worth to decrease, be a slow learner, boy. Take 26 years to learn what Jeff Bezos learned in 94. It's a great way to go bankrupt. JCPenney just whoop, GNC, whoop. These companies all gone. They'll be gone. Dodo. I buy big brands. I bought Dress Barn. It had made somebody a billionaire, and they sold it to me for pennies on the dollar. A company I did $740 million of revenue in 2019, last year. I own it. I'm the largest shareholder. Me and my business partners own it. So I never, luckily, because I learned from guys like Joel Salatin, I learned catch trends early. So how do you get a measurable set of success? I'm telling you, measurable is money and health. And if you get those right, I hope you can also win at those non-measurable things like love and happiness. And when it comes to money, focus on net worth. Is it going up? If it's going up, even if it's going up slow, it's fine. It's direction over velocity. Are you going the right direction? Less skepticism, more catching things early. More catching things early. More quick learning, less slow learning. And, you know, people ask me, okay, Ty, what's the tangible trend to catch right now? Well, I told people in 2016. I was like, in 2016, I made this prediction. I said, listen to me. Social media marketing is a big thing. You can form your own agency. Companies don't know how to do it. Average business is owned by a 55 plus person. They don't want to learn Facebook ads, YouTube ads. And I started training people. And boy, people came out of the woodwork skeptical. Oh, what is this scam? But then I trained like over 80,000 people and became a legit thing. I trained so many people in social media marketing in 2016 that US government gave me the trademark for SMMA, Social Media Marketing Agency. They usually don't give trademarks that fast. But I could prove that I had made a dent in the world. Like actually, like in the US, it was measurable how many people were able to build agencies that started getting customers paying them $1,000 to $10,000 a month. But that was 2016. And I've been telling, by the way, you already missed. I told people last month, you might have seen my videos. I said, I'm going to launch an e-commerce test group number 1. And I'm going to train people for 4 months certification program, like how to do e-com, 4 Ps. What are the 4 Ps? There's actually 7 Ps, but I don't teach that at the beginning. The 4 Ps, product, pricing, promotions, placement, how to do the 4. So I launched that and told people I'm gonna close it. And then people were like, I need an extra week. So I opened up a second test group. And I'm gonna close that test group, what is today? Yeah, you got less than 7 days. I'm gonna put a link. I'm gonna do a little blatant selling here. I didn't necessarily plan to sell. This is a long video, but nothing wrong with, you know, one thing Joel Salatin told me, my first mentor? He said, if you got something good, don't be embarrassed of it. People say, oh, you're salesy. Everybody's salesy. Everything's salesy. What do you mean? Everywhere I go, there's billboards. Everywhere I go, there's Apple Music branding themselves everywhere. Biggest corporation in the world is Apple. Nothing wrong with selling because they're selling something good. So I closed the first test group. So many people asked literally Thousands of people are like, Tai, I need to wait paycheck, PPE, all this kind of stuff. So I've opened up this second test group, and I'll put a link below if you want to catch something early. When this second test group closes, it's closed. You ain't gonna be able to go to my website and click, for real. Some people go, this is an extension that I did, but I'm closing it. You got less than 7 days. So click the link below. In it, I'm gonna give you a 4-month training program. At the end, you get a certification. You got an online exam if you pass it. If you don't pass it, you gotta wait a week to take it again. It's so legit. Like, we're not just gonna give you a certification. It's not a college degree. I'm a college dropout. So I'm not gonna pretend that I could give you a college degree. I don't even have one. If you want a college degree, you can do digital marketing. I have this girl I know is at NYU, Stern Business School, very prestigious. Not quite as much as Harvard, but pretty prestigious. She ain't learned a thing in her digital marketing. She's like, I don't know anything. I just memorize. I was like, how much money are you spending? She's like, oh, it's like $30,000. I was like, wow. You spent 4 years of life and $30,000 memorizing stuff, but not learning how to do it. E-commerce. And she's like, no, it's $30,000 a year. I'm like, wow. You can spend 120 G's in 4 years of your life where you admit you're just memorizing stuff. You know, me and my business partner have generated over, well, let's just call it 10 figures, well over $1 billion in e-com sales for our own businesses. Like I said, I own Dress Barn. Zeus is something he just sold, an e-com brand. We own a big food business called Farmer's Cart. We own Mentor Box, which is a digital, kind of like a digital book version of like Netflix. We have 70,000 customers on auto rebilling. We know how to build big e-com brands. We spent over $600 million on Facebook, YouTube, and Google ads. All the professors in the world who teach digital marketing or e-com combined together, sadly, haven't done the revenue or, the advertising that Dr. Mayer and I have done. So I want to put together this program. It's 4 months. It's a simple system. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. You will not become a billionaire from it. Probably not become a millionaire. That's very rare. But I give you a real skill that you can get a job with, that you can get a promotion with, that you can use to launch your own e-com program, that you can do products, to launch your own agency, to launch your own consulting company. Like, real stuff, man. Real skills, tangible skills. Remember I was like 18 years old, I just buy every get-rich-quick scheme? This isn't even get rich. This is no get-rich thing. To become a millionaire is relatively rare. I think there's 20 million millionaires that are measured, and billionaires is much harder, especially self-made billionaires. Put that out of your mind. Focus on your net worth. Will your net worth spin off enough free cash flow that you can retire early or retire safely or live a life of freedom? You need free cash flow. FCF, baby. FCF. Free cash flow. 3 forms of free cash flow: from operating activities, from financing activities, and from investment activities. But that's more advanced. Something I also don't teach you at school. Free cash flow is king. Free cash flow is related to net worth. As you have net worth and you have assets, they spin off free cash flow. Job is not an asset per se because it's not transferable. Real assets can be sold. Like, you got a gold coin, it's an asset. You can sell it to somebody else. You can't really sell your job to somebody else. So your job is an income producing activity, but it's not an asset. And so most of the world wasn't taught that. So most of the world has their primary source of net worth is accumulating through a paycheck, which is highly taxed. You go to California, it's 13.5%, plus you have the federal tax rate, plus you have FICA. But it's hard to build net worth with income. But with assets, recently I bought 850 acres of farmland in the Shenandoah Valley of Virginia. Some of you have seen it on my social media. That's an asset. I can transfer it. It spins off cash flow. I bought, in the last 2 weeks, me and my business partner Alex bought 2 warehouses. They spin off cash flow. I own businesses, like I said, Dress Barn. It's a big business. 10 million paying customers. 57-year-old brand that I bought. It's a real asset. I can sell it, or it spins off free cash flow. The simplest thing I know to do now, I told people in 2016, social media marketing agency, which is still valid, but it's getting later and later. The sun is setting as competition comes in. But e-com, oh no. I can tell you. You know how I know? I have 28 companies that I'm targeting to buy. So by the way, people ask what I do for a living. Like, I'm a deal maker. Now, these are 28 deals that I'm working on. Obviously, you never get all the deals, the acquisitions that you try to buy. You can Google Tai Lopez. New York Post recently, the big New York newspaper, did an article on me in the business section about me making a bid to buy Blue Apron. Talked about me making a bid to buy Forever 21. So I work on big buying, or trying to buy, not always successful, big brands. And you know why I can buy them for cheap? Because they can't hire. There's no one good. I bought a company. They had 100 e-com people. I was like, great, I'll hire some of them. None of them even had what I consider white belt level. Like I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Like white belt's the beginning. I'm like, wow, you're paying people that don't even know what they're doing. So I can promise you that right now, deep domain e-commerce, I call it e-com specialists, are in short demand. Super short demand. I try to hire people. I put a job post, 7,000 people apply. We got 2 candidates that I consider basic entry level e-com. We have a quiz. We interview people, go through 3 different interviews. I mean, people don't know the basics, and it's understandable. Nobody's teaching it in college that knows what they're doing. I'm early on building an e-com program. That's a 4-month step-by-step certification program like I have. So I'm not surprised, but I think it's sad because Jeff Bezos figured this out in 1994 and he's the richest person in the world. And I'm going, I started in 2001, which I consider late. That's 7 years late. And I got people, should I learn e-com time? I'm like, well, it's 2020, baby. Are you the slowest learner in history? Are you the 26-year? Okay, 94, that was pretty early. I got in 2001, kind of early. 2020, you're already late. So I got good news and bad news. Good news is you got 7 days left. And I'm going to close it for real. You will see. Some people are like, oh, I see you opening and closing things. Yeah, sometimes I extend things because a lot of people need a little more time to accumulate money. Now, how much am I going to charge for it? Not a lot. I should charge a lot. If NYU Business School, Stern Business School is taught by professors that have never made 10 million in e-com themselves, and they're charging 120,000. Shouldn't I be able to charge the same? So forget 4 years. Give me 4 months. Some people are like, hey, can I learn it all in 4 hours? No, it's too complex. But 4 months? Yeah, I can make a dent in it. NYU Business School starting 100 grand. I won't even charge 100 of that. Click the link below. You'll see. Got a very low price. Too low, but I don't like it too high because I remember when I started, I bought a program in 2001 by Corey Rudel. Saw an ad. It looked like a get-rich scheme. In 2001, he was sitting on a beach saying how I made $38,000 where I laid on the beach. And thank God, Joel Salatin taught me, don't be skeptical, Tai. Some of those stupid-looking things turn out to be legit. And I clicked on it. Maybe it was a little outlandish marketing. Like even with me, people were like, oh, your marketing's outlandish. You have a Lamborghini. And I'm like, yeah, but it gets attention. And I have a Lamborghini anyway. People think I got the Lamborghini for the ad. And I'm like, it's stupid. I had my first exotic car 2006. 9 years before I put it on social media. I just always liked cars from a little kid. I still love cars. If there was no people on planet Earth, my experience is best 2 cars. Lambo for speed and power, feeling that muscle car feel. And Rolls Royce for, I have both. Not because I like to rub it in people, because I like the engineering. But anyway, I digress. For those of you who get in, you'll see. I got a 30-day money-back guarantee. Try for a month. If it sucks, I'll give you all your money back. Wouldn't it be good if college had a money-back guarantee? Wouldn't that be a more fair world? You can't even discharge college debt with bankruptcy. They changed the law to screw people over. It's insane, boy. Government makes a lot of money on college interest, by the way, people don't realize. Your good old government. Remember I told you there's 2 ways you can pull yourself out. One's by waiting on the government. One's by pulling yourself out with bootstraps. The bootstrap thing's not even ideal, but it's like the only thing left. It's like Sherlock Holmes said, when you eliminate the things that won't work, whatever's left is the only way you can do it, no matter how hard it seems. So if you learn anything from this video, self-motivate. Number 1. Learn how to self-motivate. It'll happen socially. It'll happen socially primarily. By the way, the reason I like this 4-month program, every Friday we have a live call. You're going to be on call with hundreds of other people who are socially trying to get ahead. And that will motivate you. Get a little competitive. Get in there. Be somebody who takes this e-commerce program. It's taught by me, my business partner, Dr. Mayer, who I told you sold his e-com business. It was the second largest gross revenue dating company besides Match.com and Tinder. That's how big it was. You're talking companies doing, 15 to 20 million a month. Okay? So you learn from me, you learn from Dr. Mayer, you learn from another business partner I have, Rudy. Rudy scaled multiple brands to over 100 million in e-com revenue. So I've got guest teachers and I teach. 4-month program. First month is a 30-day challenge to get you up to speed real fast. Then the second month we go deeper in the 4 Ps: product, pricing, promotions, placement. There's a lot of stuff on marketing, building your funnels. Should you use Shopify? Should you use ClickFunnels? How to find products that are trending, whether you should do physical product, e-com, whether you should do digital products, like that's what Netflix is. That's what Masterclass is. Whether you should do consulting services, which is massive. And for those of you who just want to be an employee and get a raise or get a promotion, this is the way to do it. You know how you get a promotion? You know stuff that nobody else in the company knows. Then your boss has to pay you, because they can't lose you. They can't lose you. That's what I mean by pulling yourself up by your bootstraps. You can wait for the government to raise minimum wage. What's minimum wage in some states? Virginia is $7. What are you going to wait? You think it's going to get to $30 an hour? $30 an hour is $60,000 a year. It'll be there in 20, 30, 40 years. So better than waiting on someone else. Pull yourself up by the bootstraps. Become the most skilled e-commerce person in your company. Oh man, if I will, e-com people that actually know what they're doing, you could come to me and I would hire you like that. It's just most people haven't been trained. Now, by the way, you can learn this on your own. You can Google YouTube videos and this and that, and maybe the teacher knows what they're talking about. Maybe they don't, but you're not going to get what I'm going to teach you, which is a systematic approach. You need to devote at least 1 hour a week. Okay, we have a series of videos. You can listen to them on audio. You can watch them on video. You can do them while you're on treadmill, while you're driving to work, while you're doing the dishes, while you're in the gym. Give me an hour a week minimum. I'm going to train you in things that I've learned. My e-com businesses, I don't like to brag, but I got e-com on an average day. My e-com brand's doing 100 to 600,000 a day. Okay, gross. It's not all net. If you can keep your net margins 10 to 20%, and especially if you have physical, digital is a little different. But I'm not saying that to brag. I'm just saying, some of my websites get 200,000-300,000 visitors a day, uniques. And so I'm going to teach you, I'm going to pull back the curtain, and you can have confidence that what you're learning is cutting edge. Why I like videos, by the way. I love books, but not for this. By the time I print a book, by the time I print an exhaust, you can do little booklets, but like a textbook, it's like by the time these college textbooks, they're still teaching. I was looking at college textbooks that was teaching you how to use, what was it? That one live platform that doesn't even exist anymore. Twitter bought it and merged it. They were still teaching how to use platforms that don't exist. It's like, hey, you want to learn how to make money with MySpace? That's the equivalent of what they were doing. So I update the stuff. If it ever becomes, you've got up to 1 year to do the program. So it's 12 months yearly. It's kind of an annual program. I didn't want to make it, you can do it in 4 months, but some people, you might need a little more time. It's got a money back guarantee. You're taught by real deal people doing it. I don't have anybody teaching who hasn't scaled brands. Okay, the main teachers. We've got different levels to it. So after you get in, you click the link below. You'll see an 256-bit SSL encrypted page. You click as quickly as you put your info. You can be learning a new trend, something that can contribute to your net worth. You can be learning that in 5 minutes from now. Okay, we've got automated videos. Then we have live calls. Some people are like, oh, I'll just hack this online. Well, then you're not going to get access to basically the most important thing, which is live interaction. So we use Zoom, and you can live interact. We do that every Friday. We have, for those of you who want us to even build you like a Shopify store or build you an Amazon store, we can do that for a select group of people. We don't like to do that too much, but I'll show you how to do it. You're going to walk away from this going, for the first time in my life, I have a real tangible skill that can be monetized. It can be an actual asset. You can build a brand that has an asset. You can help others. You can build a business. You can do it part-time, you can do it full-time. So, I'm talking almost an hour here. Hope it wasn't boring, but listen to me. This is for real. You got less than 7 days. Click the link below. And I'm closing the second test group. Remember, I did one test group. So many people asked. I launched the second test group, but that's it. I'm not launching third test group. Maybe eventually, maybe next year, who knows. But those who get in early, I'm going to train 10, 20, 30,000 people. So you want to wait another year? When I open up another test group and it's 100,000 people, get in early. By the way, bringing it full circle. If you're concerned about motivation, what if I get this program and I forget to do it, and in the past I procrastinated? That's my specialty. That's my group specialty. We'll help you stay motivated, my friend. You know why I charge money? People aren't motivated for stuff you give them for free. I've tried it. I've given away free. I had free training program. 100,000 people go through it. No one even gets to the second video because you don't value what you don't put a little energy and effort in. Money is energy and effort. I don't want to charge too much, but I'm not going to charge too little. I'm not going to do it for $1. I've done dollar trainings. We stopped doing them. They're not that effective. I tested it for a year. I was like, everybody can afford $1 in every country. Well, less testimonials came out of it. My SMMA program was $1,000. The most testimonials came out of it. One way to motivate yourself, it's kind of like if you want to motivate yourself for the gym, pay a personal trainer ahead of time. Because you'll be like, I don't feel like training, but I already paid this person $2,000 this month or $500 this month. I'm going to show up. That's a form of self-motivation. It's kind of brute force version, but it works. So, won't charge much. Plus, you got a money-back guarantee. It's not like college. It's not like personal training. You can't really get your money back. We got a money-back guarantee. Our refund rate is low. It's like sub, 5-6%. So, that's, by the way, you'll learn in e-commerce. You can tell if what you're selling is good by the refund rate. I know people got 25% refund rate. I'm going, what are you doing? So, but you'll never have 0% refund because some people you could give them the world and they'll still complain, oh, why didn't you give me the solar system? Well, okay. The world wasn't enough for you. You'll see. Click the link below. Get in. I have only one request. When you start to see a little success, send me an email. TaiLopez.com. I love waking up. I get all these testimonials. They're cool. It's been one of the greatest part of the last 6-7 years of my life when I really went hard in kind of doing online training stuff. It's like real thing. People are like, oh, these testimonials you pay for them. I'm like, no, we ain't never paid somebody for it. You think I'm that stupid? My lawyer, I got in-house lawyers. You think they'd kill me? Oh yeah, let's pay people. Come on. Won't pay people. Never paid for a testimonial. Never will, never have. Never incentivize somebody. I never did a contest like, oh, we're getting the best incentive wins a car. Nope. We don't do that. Real testimonials. Because, at the end of the day, you get in early, you self-motivate, you learn things other people don't know, you compete a little bit in the game of life, you focus on the right measurable things. Net worth, fine. Don't forget your health, by the way. Don't forget love. Don't forget happiness. But sure as hell, don't forget a little wealth. Not crazy wealth, but a little bit. What do you want to be, broke? I've already done that game. I can tell you, I've been broke and I've been, by most standards, wealthy. And, it's funny. Wealth, I thought it would be like the absolute pill. You take it and like everything's better. It's not. In fact, you can make too much money. There's been times recently where I've wanted to cut my income, and I have on purpose. Like I told my team, I'm like, let's do less marketing. Like money the old saying, more money, more problems. There's a little bit of truth to that, but I can tell you, not enough money. Heck, like crazy amount of problems. If I had to choose, what's the saying? Would you rather cry in a Lamborghini or whatever, be happy? Well, forget all that. More money, more problems. No money, even more problems. So get your game up a little bit. All you guys in the gym, all you ladies in the gym doing CrossFit, getting your bench press up, don't forget to bench press the bank account too. Put in the reps and sets. It's funny, people are like, well, I'm not going to buy a program and train. Well, you know how you get in shape physically? You train, reps and sets. No reps, no sets, no body. That's how the game goes. No control in the diet, no control in the macros, no control in the calories, no body. When it comes to wealth, people are like, no, it'll just come. I'll get a good job because I got a piece of paper from a college degree. I wish it was that simple, boy. Might have been that simple in the 50s, but boy, has the world changed. So put in the reps and sets. I've got 16 weeks, 4 months. You get 5 lessons a week. It's 80 lessons. Give me 80 lessons. Don't be lazy. Put in the work. Put in the work. You will thank me one day. Even if you don't end up using e-com and launch your own e-com brand, you don't think you want to know one of the most cutting-edge skills, the skill that's disrupted the entire world? You don't think you want to know that? You're not going to invest a little time? If that's you, good luck, my friend, because the game's competitive. No matter what mommy and daddy and politicians tell you, the game's competitive. And there's only so much money in the world. And if you don't compete at all for it, you probably won't have it. That's the sad truth. You know, I wish I didn't have to say that, but going back to 18, I wish somebody just told me the rough truth. It's kind of like a Band-Aid. I'd rather have you rip that thing off fast. I'll handle the pain. I'll handle the pain. I'm ripping back the curtain here. You better compete. You better compete. You will regret it financially if you don't. So if you don't get in my program, no problem. Make sure you train somewhere else. And don't pay 120 grand to college to learn digital marketing. Become a medical doctor, that might make sense. Become an accountant, yeah, you got to have a college degree. Lawyer, don't be dropping 120 to learn from somebody who ain't never done e-com. So, good luck out there. Click the link below or in the corners or wherever it is. And for those of you who get in, I'll see you on the next live call this week.